By the time you die, you will have already spent over 6 years of your life dreaming. 6 years of vivid, strange, occasionally terrifying stories generated entirely by your own brain that you will most likely never remember. You've probably been told that dreams are your subconscious revealing secret desires. That's actually one of the most confidently wrong ideas in modern psychology, and the real explanation is stranger and a lot more useful than wish fulfillment. Your brain isn't trying to tell you a secret. It's running a process that's been quietly shaping human survival for millions of years, every single night, whether you remember it or not. For most of the last century, one explanation dominated how people understood dreams: Sigmund Freud's theory that dreams are disguised wish fulfillment, your forbidden desires sneaking past your conscious mind in coded symbols. That's a compelling story. It's also not how modern sleep science understands dreaming at all. Freud published his theory before anyone could observe a living human brain in action. Today, researchers can watch exactly what happens inside your skull while you dream, in real time using brain imaging. And what they found doesn't look anything like a sensor smuggling secret wishes past your defenses. What they found is closer to noise. Specifically, your brainstem firing off essentially random electrical signals during REM sleep, and your forebrain, the part of you that builds stories, scrambling to make sense of that noise after the fact. In 1977, researchers J. Allen Hobson and Robert McCarley proposed what's now called the activation synthesis hypothesis, and it remains one of the most influential models of how dreaming actually works. Here's the idea. During REM sleep, neurons deep in your brainstem fire in essentially random bursts, a kind of internal static, disconnected from anything happening in the outside world. Your forebrain, the part of your brain responsible for meaning making and narrative, doesn't just get to ignore that static. It receives it as an input and does what it always does: builds a story to explain it. That's the part most people never hear. The bizarre plot of your dream isn't the message, it's the cleanup job. Your brain is handed a pile of random electrical noise and asked to make a coherent narrative out of it on the fly with no time to plan ahead. This is why dream logic feels so specific and so wrong at the same time. You're not misremembering a story. You watched your brain improvise one in real time, using whatever raw material it had lying around. A stray memory fragment here, an emotional tone there, stitched into something that feels, for a few seconds after waking, like it almost made sense. If dreaming is just neural noise getting a story slapped onto it, here's a question that noise alone doesn't answer. Why do certain dream themes show up across cultures, across centuries, with almost suspicious consistency? Being chased, falling, showing up somewhere unprepared or exposed. Finnish cognitive scientist Antti Revonsuo proposed an answer in the late 1990s called threat simulation theory. His argument: dreaming evolved, at least in part, as a kind of offline rehearsal space for danger. A brain that practices recognizing and escaping threats in a low-stakes simulation, even an imaginary one, may respond faster and more effectively when a real threat shows up. Studies of dream content support this more than you'd expect. Across large samples of recorded dreams, threatening events, being pursued, attacked, or endangered show up dramatically more often than pleasant or neutral ones. Children in environments with more real-world danger have been found to report a higher frequency of threat-themed dreams than children in safer environments, which is exactly what you'd predict if the dreaming brain calibrates its nightly simulations to the actual danger levels of your life. Your nightmares may not be a malfunction. They may be a training program nobody asked for and nobody can turn off. Threat simulation explains why certain themes reoccur across humanity. It doesn't explain why your dream last night had your old coworker, a hallway from your childhood school, and an argument you've never actually had. That's where the continuity hypothesis comes in. The well supported finding that dream content is heavily, measurably influenced by your recent waking life. Not literally replaying your day like footage, but pulling emotional residue, fragments of unresolved concerns, and recently activated memories into the material your brain improvises with. This is why a stressful week tends to produce more anxious, fragmented dreams, and why people processing grief or major life changes report dreaming about the people and situations connected to that change, often for months. Your dreaming brain isn't reaching into a separate, symbolic underworld. It's reaching into the same memory and emotional system you've used 12 hours earlier, just with a very different set of rules running the show. Here's the part that explains why you can be talking to your childhood dentist in a dream, in a location that's somehow also your old apartment, and not finding that strange at all until you wake up. During REM sleep, brain imaging shows a striking pattern. Your amygdala, the region tied to emotional intensity and fear, and your visual association areas light up dramatically. Meanwhile, your dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for logical analysis, working memory, and critical judgment, goes quiet. That's not a minor detail. That region is precisely the part of your brain that would normally flag, wait, this doesn't add up. With running at reduced activity, your dreaming brain gets full emotional and sensory intensity, and almost none of the editorial oversight that catches contradictions while you're awake. You're not dumber while dreaming. You're running on a brain that has temporarily reassigned its fact checker to another department. If your brain is generating 6 years worth of vivid material, why can you barely remember anything past the first few minutes of being awake? The likely answer involves a brain chemical called norepinephrine, which plays a major role in laying down new memories. During REM sleep, norepinephrine levels in the brain drop to some of their lowest points of the entire day. Without it at sufficient levels, your brain has a much harder time encoding dream experiences into memory that survives past waking. This is also why dreams that you do remember are almost always the ones right before you woke up. You caught the tail end of REM sleep close enough to waking that some encoding had a chance to happen right before the chemical window closed. The other 5 hours and 55 minutes of that 6 years isn't gone because nothing happened. It's gone because your brain, by design, mostly didn't bother saving the file. So no, this was never really a video about dreams. It's about the fact that every single night, without asking your permission, your brain runs threat rehearsals pulled from your actual fears, processes the emotional residue of your actual day, and does it all with its logical fact checker switched off, and then deletes almost the entire recording before morning. You're not haunted by secret desires. You're running maintenance you were never given access to watch. So drop a comment. What's the most specific, oddly detailed dream you've ever had? And looking back, can you trace it to something that was going on at your life at that time? This is Sketchy Files, and I'll see you in the next one.